Hola everyone, my name is Matthew and this is another episode of the What You Played question and answer show, where together with a bunch of your help we endeavour to answer all of the internet's burning board game questions. Our first question forced me into a research rabbit hole, but it's which Carcassonne is best? A lot of people talk about the fact that there's 1,000 expansions for base game Carcassonne. There's just loads and loads and loads. But there's also different standalone base games of Carcassonne. Standalone games that you buy the game, and that's a whole game of Carcassonne. That does something a bit different, maybe. I love Carcassonne, and I've had the privilege over my board gaming hobby to play most of the base games of Carcassonne. There's, from what I can tell, 18 different standalone Carcassonne games, and I'm going to give you my top 5. This isn't going to be in any particular order because I feel like these versions of the games do different things to different people, so the one that appeals to you might just appeal to you. So my first one is Carcassonne the City. Now Carcassonne the City is a game we've spoken about on this show multiple times. It's a wonderful version of Carcassonne where you have these wooden blocks as well that kind of like enclose the game board as the game progresses. And one of the big differences here is that the tiles don't necessarily have to match up perfectly as long as the roads connect. It does all the Carcassonne stuff, but there's also these guards that you can place out on the walls as they get built, and they get points for the different special buildings that they can see, that they overlook. There's something very beautiful and wonderful about this. In some regards, it's a simpler version, while also being a much more impressive visual version of Carcassonne. Like a few of the other games that I'm going to be talking about, Carcassonne the City isn't easy to find anymore. Will it get reprinted? Who knows? But it's a great version if you get a chance, and it's a brilliant Carcassonne. Another one is Carcassonne the Castle. Again, I've spoken about this multiple times on this channel because I love it. It's Carcassonne for 2 players, designed by Rainer Knizia, and again it has an enclosure part of the game. And again, you don't have to match things up perfectly other than the roads. The cool twist here is you want to score specific amounts of points to get these bonus tiles that give you bonus scoring and some bonus actions. But it's fantastic. As a 2-player version of I think Carcassonne plays brilliant 2-player. Just to be clear, I love regular Carcassonne. But there's something very special about Carcassonne the Castle. And there was a Polish reprint of this, which is really good looking. The rules are, you can get the rules in English on Board Game Geek, so if you find that, then grab it. But yeah, Carcassonne the Castle, brilliant. So we've got a great Carcassonne for a group of people, we've got a great Carcassonne for 2 people, but what about a great Carcassonne for people who like co-op games? Well, Carcassonne has you covered, as it often does with variants of the game. And there's Mists over Carcassonne, which came out a couple of years ago. I think there's an expansion for it now as well, of course, because it's Carcassonne. Mists over Carcassonne is a co-op version. And here, you're trying to enclose ghosts, because if too many ghosts overrun the board, you lose. You're doing Carcassonne things, trying to score points, but because you want to score these point thresholds before the game ends. But you've got to also get rid of the ghosts, so you're making suboptimal moves to enclose these mist patches on the board to enclose the ghosts, which removes them. But you can choose to not score points in order to remove ghosts. So you can say, okay, I'm just going to close this little road, not score the points and use it. So it's like, so your points are what you need, but they're also a resource to use in the game. It's not going to be for everyone. It's tense. It's quite difficult. And there's varying levels of difficulty as the game goes on. It's not a campaign, but there's varying levels of difficulty that there's various challenges to take on. But I really liked it. And the first time I played it, it was just, let's play again, let's play again, let's play again. There's a kind of a Carcassonne Around the World series of games. You've got things like Amazonas, Gold Rush. I have a list actually. South Seas. And I think Hunters and Gatherers is kind of in this maybe it's not, regardless. The best one's South Seas, in my opinion. Carcassonne South Seas. The reason it's the best one is because I feel it does something that's interesting. It's very beautiful. So Carcassonne South Seas, you don't score points for completing Carcassonne features. You're making islands, and the water is essentially the farmland, but there's resources. So when you close a city or an island with 3 bananas on it, you get the bananas. And then you can use these resources, which are real resources like wooden little tokens that you can collect. You use them to buy these tiles, which are little contracts. This one needs 2 shells and a fish and 3 bananas, and it's going to give you 8 points. Is it different from regular Carcassonne? Or is it doing the same thing in a different way? I don't know. But I like it. There's something very satisfying about getting resources than just buying tiles and scoring points. It's my favourite of that series of Carcassonnes. Gold Rush is great, but it's got this extra level of luck in it, which isn't going to hit with everyone. Amazonas is a perfectly good Carcassonne, but there's a river racing mechanism, which I don't love. I don't dislike, but I don't love it. But there's something special about South Seas, which I think is brilliant. The final one, my number 5 on this list, is going to be Carcassonne, which does exist. Carcassonne is a push-your-luck card game with a Carcassonne theme. You've got these rows of cards, and you're placing cards down into these rows that have Carcassonne features. And essentially, you put a meeple down to grab the cards, but do you grab them now, or do you wait until there's more cards in the row? Because it's first come, first serve in that way. And you're trying to collect sets to score points. You want to get different types of workers. You want to get collections of animals, that type of stuff. It's the most abstracted version of it's Carcassonne in name only, but it's a great little card game. If you have a copy of Carcassonne that you do not want, please comment in this video description and let's talk, because I do want a copy of this game. It's a great little card game. It's my left of field version. Just to talk about the rest of the list, I have them all down here. I mean, Carcassonne Winter Edition is Carcassonne with a winter theme. Ark of the Covenant is very similar to Carcassonne. There's New World, which has this kind of mechanism of explorers going west, which means you don't score for big features. It's all about scoring for small features. There's Carcassonne for 2, which I don't think needs to exist when Carcassonne is so brilliant at 2-player anyway. Hunters and Gatherers is the highest rated Carcassonne that I haven't really spoken about, and I do like it. I just wish you got to use the special powers more often, which is kind of like the cool thing in this. Over Hill and Dale it's great. It's a good Carcassonne, but it doesn't do much different to regular. It's like a lighter version. Carcassonne, the Star Wars one's fun, but there's a combat mechanism in it for taking over essentially the abbeys, which are planets. Carcassonne the Discovery. I haven't spoke about that one. It's a simpler version of Carcassonne. What are your favourite versions of Carcassonne and why? And what I would love to hear is, what version of Carcassonne would you like to see in the future? And what would you do to make that work in the world? We have 2 more questions, which we probably will try to get through quickly than the last question. But before that, we have a word from the sponsor who in part helped make this episode possible.
If you're looking for a way to upgrade your favorite games, I've got an easy recommendation for you: Meeple Source. They have upgrades for hundreds of games, and I've personally bought and used several of them myself, so it's great to have them supporting this episode. Let's say you have Wingspan but want to upgrade the action cubes. No problem. If you're me, you'd go with this set of Blue Jays, but maybe you'd prefer Strawberry Finches, or Penguins, or Flamingos. They have close to 100 different types of birds you can choose to replace the action cubes with, so your copy of Wingspan can have its own unique combination of your favorite feathered friends. And these are quality wooden pieces, with birds in unique shapes and beautifully painted designs on both their sides. No stickers here. Want to upgrade the Wingspan food? You can do that too, bringing the original cardboard components to life in a new way. If you have the Oceania expansion, you can also upgrade the Nectar, or maybe the Start Player marker for the base game. And these are just some of the upgrades they offer for Wingspan. Their website has loads more, and for Wormspan too. For example, if you want upgraded Wormspan player pieces, you can get complete set replacements for the dragons, dragon heads, explorers, and shield upgrades. And again, these come in a variety of color, shapes, and designs unique to each set, allowing players to pick their favorite options. You'll also find upgrades for the Wormspan resources, and hey, go big with an upgraded round marker, or go really big and get the upgraded Start Player dragon. So that's Wingspan and Wormspan, but don't worry, they've got you covered for the newest game in the Span family as well. For Finspan, you can get your own unique set of divers, once again in a variety of colors, and there's also an upgraded Start Player token. I like when I can take a game I already enjoy and give it that little something extra special, both for me and for the people I play it with. And like I said, there are many, many other game upgrades you'll find on the Meeple Source website for loads of other games. So be sure to visit their site by following the link in this video's description.
How many new games should you be playing to stay up to date in the hobby? The answer to that question is do not try. I very rarely say don't try. I'm a big fan of trying, but you cannot stay up to date in the hobby. You can't. You just can't do it. And also, what does that mean to you? You could stay up to date with tile placement games, maybe, if you just did that. You could stay up to date with trick-taking games. I think there's a lot of them, and it'd be very difficult to get your hands on them. But you can't stay up to date with the hobby. I would say maybe if you want to stay up to date with what the hobby is doing, then play all the games that are recommended in the various awards. Would be my best guess at that. The nominations for the Golden Geek Awards, the nominations for like the Dice Tower Awards, and the nominations for the Spiel des Jahres, and all the winners. If you can play all of those games, you are up to date with what the people are playing. But you can't play everything. You don't want to play everything. You just don't. It's great to stay knowing what's happening and knowing trends and seeing what's going on and stuff. That's true. I like that. I try to do that because I make board game content. I like to at least have heard of the new game. But I do board games professionally. I do board games for a job. Let's change the phrasing of that. And I can't stay up to date with everything. There's just no way. It's impossible. I'd say don't try. And if you do try, go with everything that's been nominated for things. And our final question this month is just a question I love getting, and it's a great chat. I just love it because I can talk about games. It's what are the hidden gems you've been enjoying recently? The first game that's a hidden gem for me, also a hidden gem is just a very relative term. Maybe lots of people are playing this. Maybe they're just not playing it with me. But it's a game called, also this is a brand new game. It's called Northwest. Northwest is aimed directly at me. It just is. And I actually discovered it from doing a list on Watch It Played, which was a nice little surprise. It's a double layer abstract strategy tableau building game, which sounds like something that probably doesn't exist, but it does, I promise you. So what you're doing is you've got this board in front of you with all these like dice with different symbols on them. And it's abstract strategy in the sense that there's a token and you want to take a dice. I'm going to call them dice in this, even though they don't act like dice, but they're dice shaped. You take one and then you add it to your own personal tableau. Your dice you take kind of denotes the movement, the options for the next player. So that's one thing that's happening. And they all do different things. Mushrooms make you move the next person move one way. Phones make the next player move another way. But there's two layers to it because you've got your own little personal journal little board where you're putting all the dice that you've collected. And not only do they make your opponent move in different ways, but they all score in different ways as well. So you're trying to collect very specific sets of dice and have them placed in a specific way on your board. It's simple, but it's so smart. It's just one of those wonderful games that feels like it should already have existed for a long time. The next hidden gem I've been playing is Tangram City. This is a hidden gem because, well, on the basis that it's an Uwe Rosenberg game that not everyone has. Right? I feel like Uwe Rosenberg tile placement game means it's just spoken about, talked about, played. Not so much for Tangram City, and I think Capstone Games released it now in English version. But it's these tangrams, which are a specific type of shape I've learned since this game existed. And essentially everyone's playing the same shapes out at the same time because there's a draw of these cards. So you're building your little area together, but you want to have a balance of the two different colors for scoring. It's a really simple, fun family game with these really cool little shapes. I know it's not a huge difference, really, but it's nice that they're not polyominoes. They could be polyominoes, you know, but yeah, Tangram City is great. I don't know why it's not as, maybe it's just a distribution problem. I think most people will enjoy this game. And my final hidden gem I've really been enjoying recently is Ohanami. And this is a small box card game that actually featured in our People's Choice list, which I was really happy that it did, because maybe people are getting to start to play this game again. Everyone owns a couple of these little card games that are filler, fun for everyone games. But I think, you know, I think Ohanami should be in that tableau of that list of games that everyone owns. I mean, not everyone's going to enjoy it. I appreciate that, but Ohanami's brilliant. What you're doing is it's a card drafting game. You draft 2 cards on your turn, pass the cards around the table, and you're making these 3 rows of cards, and they have to be sequential. So you want to get cards that are grouped close to each other as to not block off options as the game progresses. And the cool, really fun thing is that all the cards score differently. They score simply, but they score differently. Blues score in the first, second, and third round. Greens in the second and third. Greys just in the third, and pinks score for set collections. So early blues are worth a lot of points, but you know, pinks will score you massive points in the end game. This is a game where people are gonna have like 200 points as well, which is always fun in my opinion. Ohanami's simple, fast, fun, but it's just really good. I can't explain it because I don't think it does anything wildly different to what other games do. But what it does is it does that concept of a quick playing, drafting, set collection, card game. It just does it in a perfect way. What hidden gems have you been playing? That's what I want to know, because I want you to say all the games that I like so I can feel validated as a human. But I also want you to say games that I've never heard of so I can look it up and then play it and buy it. Because that's what we want to do in this hobby. See games and buy them. That's the fun. Let me know all of your hidden gems, the games that you want to evangelize, the games that you've been playing, and why aren't people loving this game? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, thank you so much for being here for another episode of the What You Played Q&A. I just appreciate you immensely. If you enjoy it, then tell us that you enjoy it. That's good for the algorithm and good for my brain and ego. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.